Tempest is currently the most powerful nation in the world. Even excluding Rimuru, we still have dozens of born from magic that are as powerful as true demon lords, if not more, such as Diablo, Shion, Ziggy, Benimaru, and others. Besides them, we have several other characters in different positions within Tempest, who are very important to the city too, and I'm going to tell you about all of them because just like you, I also love Tensura, and that is why I do my best to bring the best content I can for my viewers. So join the community and get the best of the otaku world on your screen. Starting with the ministers, the Prime Minister of Tempest is Rigurdo, who is the head of the ministerial cabinet, and basically governs Tempest in Rimuru's place most of the time. As Rimuru's right-hand man in the governance of Tempest, Rigurdo holds the highest authority in all internal matters of Tempest, second only to Rimuru, making him the most important figure in the city. Benimaru, on the other hand, is the Minister of Defense, and the head of the entire military force of the nation as the Grand Marshal of the nation, with the only exception of Yomigari and Black Numbers, which are organizations directly under Rimuru, serving as his special agents and bodyguards. Furthermore, in times of war, Benimaru holds the highest authority for any and all decisions within the nation, only Rimuru above him in any matter. Now, for international and foreign affairs, we have Testarossa as our minister. Being the most qualified to deal with other nations while still being very powerful, Testarossa is the minister responsible for handling all foreign relation matters for the nation, especially in meetings with other kingdoms and nobles. She is Tempest's ambassador to the Western Council. Additionally, Testarossa is one of the leaders of Black Numbers, with about 202 soldiers under her command. Soei is the Minister of Intelligence and the head of Intelligence Bureau. Soei has always been Tempest's head of intelligence, especially when an official organization was created, with him being appointed as the leader and the shadow of Tempest, the shadow of Rimuru. Later, when Tempest began to have ministerial positions as a true nation, Soei was appointed as Minister of Intelligence. Soei is the shadow of Tempest and one of the most important people in all the country, because like we know, intelligence is power in all situations. You might not be familiar with Rigurdo, Tempest's Minister of Internal Affairs, as he came to Tempest with the second group of goblins that arrived. Having been the chief of his former village, in Tempest he became the Minister of Internal Affairs. He basically handles the most of civil matters, related of course to the citizens of Tempest. And Gerudo is the Minister of Infrastructure for the city. He has always been the forefront of construction work in Tempest, due to his physique and coordination with his brothers, where everyone needed work. But Gerudo is also talented and excellent, which earned him the position of Chief of the Orcs and Commander of the Yellow Numbers, and later he became the person responsible for construction work and urban planning. He is no longer just a guy who builds along with everyone, but also the one who supervises, teaches, monitors, and designs projects for the future constructions in the city. Now we have Molly, Miles, who is the Minister of Finance for Tempest. Basically, all of Tempest's financial matters are handled by Miles and his team, such as dealing with budgets, salaries, and all those things. And this is extremely important because for the monsters, offering everything to Rimuru was natural, and for a long time no one received salaries because they considered all the nation's money to belong to Rimuru. It is now Miles who work to separate the nation's financial matters from Rimuru's, just as the slime wanted. Overseeing the Tempest Ministry of Justice, we have Rigurdo, who takes care of the administration of justice in the country and resolves legal issues when they arise or get out of control. Like Rigurdo, he arrived with the second group of goblins and was a chief in his former village, and thanks to that, he was able to ascend to important positions in Tempest, taking care of the administration of justice. In the field of agriculture, Lilina is your minister, being part of the second group of goblins that arrived in the village a long time ago. Back then, she received a name from Rimuru, and after that, upon realizing how seriously she took her work and how intelligent she was in the management of the village put simply, Rimuru made her responsible for supervising and managing all crop production, livestock, harvesting, and ensuring there was enough food for the entire nation and those kind of tasks. Basically, she was the head of all food and supplies, and later she became the Minister of Agriculture. As the Minister of Legislation, we have Rigurdo, Kurdo, being the responsible for major internal affairs in Tempest, such as laws, sub-laws, their enforcement, and drafting legal projects and legislations for the nation. Similarly, he was a goblin chief in his former village, and then moved to Tempest with the second group of goblins that arrive, thus having enough experience to become a minister of the nation in the future. Vesta is the Minister of Science, responsible for the country's technological advancement and the application of the technology. He and his team are focused on development and research of new technologies and products that can be used by the nation. Additionally, he is also the head and leader of Tempest researchers, focusing all his skills on what he does the best: research. And moving on to the officials under ministers, let us start with the Chief Justice, Carrera. Carrera is the Chief Justice of Tempest Supreme Court, handling the most important and high-profile cases within the Minister of Justice. This is because, despite her violent and recklessly personality, Carrera is very intelligent and capable of making great decisions as a judge. Additionally, Carrera is also one of the leaders of the Black Numbers, commanding about 202 soldiers. Meanwhile, Ultima is the chief protector of Tempest, serving as the head of the nation's legal justice department, a position as important as her colleagues. Because just like Carrera, despite being cruel and heartless, Ultima surprisingly does an excellent job as a protector, even though it seemed unlikely at first. This is because, despite everything, Ultima is highly intelligent, calculative, and enjoys devising complex schemes, allowing her to perform fantastically in this area. Akuro is the chief instructor of the Minister of Defense, responsible for training new soldiers and troops for the creation of the army. And I don't even need to explain about this, right? Akuro has always been a trainer and a mentor to most of the mages in Tempest. The only difference here is that now is an official role, and Kaijin, Garmi, and Mirdu work together with Vesta in the Ministry of Science as researchers. Kaijin would act as the second in command, with Garmi and Mirdu working under him, but in a way they work all together as well. Rigur, who has experience in diplomatic work and as a military captain, is now the head of the city security, like the chief of police, while the Goblin Hiders, now the Green Numbers, are the Tempest police, patrolling through the city. Rigur is the officer they report to, handling issues and deciding patrol routes and such. Gobwa is the chief of Kuranai team, working directly under Benimaru and serving as his right hand to carry out his orders. Gabiru is the head of the development department, working closely with Vesta to develop the research conducted by the others. Although this surprises many, Gabiru, since he began sharing the sealed cave with Vesta, has always been very close there and started helping the scientists in various ways, and with the time, he learned about this field too. Now moving on to the Tempest military force, I don't need to say once again that Benimaru is the chief of all, but one thing is that he serves as direct leader of the 4th Military Corps, which consists of the Red Numbers and the Kuranai team combined, totaling over 30,000 members. Gobta is the leader of the 1st Military Corps, the Green Numbers, which consists around 12,000 members, and the Green Numbers are essentially Tempest's vanguard, made up entirely of hobgoblins, and even though they are ranked C+, they are quite powerful, especially after receiving gifts of Rimuru during his harvest festival. Gerudo is the leader of the 2nd Corps, which consists of the Yellow Numbers and the Orange Numbers, with the Yellow group having 10,000 members and the Orange group having 15,000 members. Gabiro is the leader of the 3rd Corps, which consists of Hero Team, the Wyvern Knights, and the Blue Numbers. The Hero are a special team of ranking A Dragonutes, being the most powerful aerial combatants. The Wyvern Knights are recently involved lizardmen who can ride wyverns and partially fuse with them, and the Blue Numbers are simply recently evolved lizardmen. And in total, the 3rd Corps have 3,000 members. Souei is the leader of Kurayami Team, which is an intelligence and espionage organization in Tempest that is led by Soka, who reports directly to Souei, the head of Intelligence Bureau. Kurayami doesn't have a great direct combat power, but specializes in information gathering, espionage, and assassination. Shion, on the other hand has her personal army, which consists of Shion Fan Club, and of course the Yomigari, making up an army of around 10,000 members. The Shion Fan Club, as the name implies, is her fan club, a group of people who loves and adores Shion, and many of them are very powerful. And as for the Yomigari, I think I don't even need to explain, right? They are a group of 100 people who are immortal. And Diablo is the head of the Black Numbers, being the mastermind behind the organization and the leader of the commanders, Testarossa, Carrera and Ultima. The Black Numbers are Tempest's most powerful unit, consisting solely of demons, with 711 immensely powerful demons within it. They are Rimuru's personal forces. And then we have the Volunteer Corps, led by Masayuki, which consists of 20,000 humans, who lives in Tempest and nearby countries. They volunteered to protect Tempest in times of need. And next we have the Dungeon Guardians, but I talk about all of them in this video, so if you really want to get to know all of them, I really recommend you to watch it now. Now, bye bye.